The students from more than 50 universities are taking part in a rent strike in protest at how the pandemic has affected their studies.
Stuck indoors in a tiny room.
I've told my university many times, you should have told us to stay at home and do a virtual degree. It would have saved £5,000 for me on rent. It would have saved coming here, switching jobs, ruining my mental health, that sort of thing.
As many of you may know, I started my Masters this past September at Queen Mary University. If you've been subscribed to the channel, you've probably seen a few of the vlogs that I made whilst I was staying in London, but let's just say I should have gone straight into work.
Low clown face emoji, nigga, use a boat.
I'm playing with you guys, man, but honestly, we students kind of knew it was going to be your typical life at university, given COVID, of course. So I was prepared for that, but universities really did not do their part in being transparent with students. Here in the UK, I'm not too sure how it was in the US. I think it might have been similar, but we were advertised this blended learning experience, meaning that you would get some lectures on campus, but the majority of your learning would be online, which is understandable and disappointing, but hey, what can you do? This was not the case. It was, for me and everybody I know personally, it was 100% online, or 99.9999%.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I visited the campus, I would say, more often than my peers. That's because I lived on campus. But the majority of my peers were in their home countries, such as Saudi Arabia, China, everywhere. So I only got to see like 3 or 4 of my colleagues in person, which was very disappointing, as when you start university, you're trying to make new friends, connections, networks, etc. So that was probably the most disappointing aspect for me, was not just being able to link up with new people from my course. I was super thankful for my time in London. Like I said, I got to meet some of my peers in person, got to go to the campus and use some of the facilities, albeit not, for a long time, but, I still tried to make use of my time in London. Made some good friends, explored the city, and my roommate Tommaso, appreciate you, was one of the nicest people as well. I enjoyed my time in London, although it was brief. I had fun. In hindsight, was it the wisest decision? No. I quit my job to move out there, a job where I had been working for over 3 years. It was time. Anyway, my time was up there, I'm not gonna lie. I had enough. I barely had enough money saved to pay rent. I was fortunate enough to get some grants which would help me, but it was just a very tough decision which I made, to be honest, out of regret. I spent the past, I would say, 5 years just at home. I went to college in my hometown. I went to university in my hometown, and I regret that decision. It's one of the few regrets I have in life, because my potential wasn't honed at my university, and I really regret that, because I felt like I had so much to give, but the institution I went to just didn't utilize that. So when I, made the choice to move out to London, it was just so I could experience life a bit more. And it's just a shame that the timing wasn't right, because hadn't it not been for COVID, I would have been making movies out there. Like, it would have been crazy, because it's East London, most of the people look like me, so we would have hit it off straight away. It would have been crazy. But alhamdulillah, even in my short time, I was able to experience some great moments, meet some amazing people, have fun, and just live my life. And honestly, it's the most peaceful I've ever been, just being by myself, because living at home, as you know, it's hectic, especially in an Asian household. So having time to breathe, having time to just think, it was so refreshing. And I definitely want to do it again, not for a long term, because I love my mama too much, but for a year at least. And I want to move out the country to, I'm not going to say the name, but inshallah. I don't want to make my goals too public, but yeah, like I said, just super thankful, man, for my time out in London, and I wish it was longer. But yeah, it just makes me frustrated that we haven't been able to get any form of refund or a partial refund for our online degrees. We pay to use the facilities and have access to, stuff which can only be accessed when we're on campus, but a lot of us were not even living on campus. We were either living at home or in our back home in our countries. So the universities, I'm not going to accuse them of scamming or anything like that, but the universities were not transparent when it came to making things clear from the get-go. A lot of students, I know you probably have seen on TV, they paid thousands of pounds in rent, me included, to just stay at home and do our work. That was very unfortunate. And for students like me who stayed with private landlords, it was tough to kind of get out of our tenancies early. It was just tough, man. We did try writing to the local MPs. The local MP for where I stayed, which was Tamar Hamlets, I don't know the specific name, I'll probably put it up. Useless, no help whatsoever. So I don't know why you're an MP. Your responsibility is to help the local residents, which I was at the time. So I think the MPs definitely let us down. The government let us down 100%. The universities also let us down. It's just been unfair on students, to say the least. I don't want to play the victim card because everyone in their own way has been suffering so much, but students have been dealt a bad hand. We know that 100%. And you can argue the online teaching was just as good as it was in no, bro, we still paid the full price for an online degree, which is not fair at all. The government failed to do its part in making not only this specific issue right, but just the whole COVID. They've failed every single person in this country, and I hope that when we do carry out these external investigations or inquiries, whatever they're called, people are held responsible for their negligence and overall incompetence in leading and managing the country. But it was tough, honestly, trying to focus and manage your time whilst everything is just based out of your laptop. Me as a person, I'm very interactive. I like to engage with people in person, so having to go through Zoom and Microsoft Teams, it was just very demotivating. I became very antisocial and just not as motivated. People that know me personally know that I'm an extremely motivated and hungry person, so it's very, very unlike me, and it kind of shocked me as well. I didn't know that moving online would cause this, so it's just been tough. I know students have been going through mental breakdowns. People, students don't have enough money to pay rent or buy food and have had to do all sorts to make ends meet. It's been horrible, man. And to cap it all off, we're all still trying to find jobs, all trying to land that grad scheme. But I think we should all be proud of ourselves that we got through this year. We made it out alive. We done the best that we could. We adapted. So we need to give each other a huge hug, obviously post-COVID. Don't touch me if you haven't had the vaccine. But let's be more forgiving to not only others but ourselves as well, because we've managed and adapted to this change extremely well. I think the government is at blame here, not the university. I mean, okay, you can say the universities are also to blame in this mess that they created because they didn't really cooperate with each other. The government is useless, as we know, when it came to taking some form of responsibility. Universities were passing the blame to the government was passing the blame to universities. It was a horrendous situation to be in for not only our students but the staff as well, who I know have worked extremely hard in setting up these online facilities for our students. So I don't want to come across as underappreciative because, I know that people are putting blood, sweat and tears into, kind of adjusting the curriculums of so many courses to being online. I talked to my friend Sina, who was one of my classmates, virtually, but one of the few people I actually met in person. And we're just going to be talking about our experience in more depth and talking about just how we managed to cope with our online degrees and how we kind of just prospered in a sense. And we'll just discuss some of the specifics, such as what teaching was like, what we expected, what we didn't expect, what life has been like for the past few months. So please stay tuned for that. Everybody, I hope you all are well, keeping safe, and I wish you nothing but the best. Please subscribe to the channel, show me some love. Road to 1,000, let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Ambitious Odyssey. I'm joined by a very special guest here with me today at Queen Mary University. It was only right I link up with one of my friends to talk about our experiences as postgraduates during the pandemic. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Just want to say hello and thanks for having me. I'm Sina, and I would say this is a very good opportunity for me to talk about something very important for all of us.
Absolutely. So I want to get you on here because we are in the same class. We've had similar experiences when it has come to just undergraduate education or postgraduate education, if I may say, during this past year. I wanted to kind of get your insight into what it's been like for you and how you've kind of dealt with just everything, man, during this pandemic, and how you've kind of kept sane and focused on your work. So I'm super excited to get into this episode. If you're new, please do subscribe, hit that like button, follow Sina. I'll put his Instagram, all that good stuff in the bio. So, you know what I'm saying? I might get some followers, you never know. But yeah, let's go. We're going to be talking about, like I said, our experiences during the pandemic. Do excuse the sound in the background. We are in East London, so you know how it gets down here.
Yeah.
But let's start off with our course. We are both postgraduate students at Queen Mary University studying entrepreneurship and innovation. How have you found adapting to online university, to say?
I think it's not possible to adapt to the pandemic life for 100%. I would say I just try to stay alive,
I agree.
in terms of, in terms of my mentality, my health,
Yeah.
and my feeling, my emotion. And of course, after like a couple of months after the first lockdown, I felt better, but still it's so hard, it's so hard, because you're gonna plan out for your future, but all of a sudden you feel like there is a barriers and you're not super sure.
Yeah.
And you have to be super sure, because when you want to plan out something, for example, you're gonna say, I'm gonna travel to Spain for my vacation. It's just an example. But then there is a new strain, there is a new lockdown, and you can't, So when you are developing your feeling, your hope for something, and the hope is ruined, that's painful. That hurts,
Absolutely. And how have you kind of managed to deal with that pain and that uncertainty? Because it's been the most uncertain period of my life and a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
So how have you combated that, and how have you stayed resilient?
I think by focusing on future, by focusing on my dreams, and by focusing on my ideas, that what I'm going to be in 10 years, in 20 years, and focusing on future gives you the energy to goes by to focus on, next chapter, your master, and then after master, your job and your vocation. And then, so it's very important to have the mindset, to have the horizon in your mind, and to focus on that all the time. I would say every day.
I think what you mean is seeing life as a marathon and not a sprint.
Exactly.
And that's the mindset Nipsey taught us. Rest in peace, King Nip. And I totally agree with you, man. Thinking about the future and thinking about the potential that we all have, it's kind of kept me on the straight path, because it's been tough to kind of stay motivated during this pandemic. And I'm a very motivated person, especially when it comes to academics. So I wanted to kind of ask you a few questions, not just relating to obviously your experience, but also just relating to the way universities, the country, and also the government has acted in regards to just dealing with the whole pandemic and how it's kind of impacted students like us. Do you think we were kind of sold a lie about blended learning?
Yes, exactly. There is a lot of problem with blended learning. first of all, is the cost. I think we paid for the in-person, in-campus learning, but what we got was just a couple of recorded lectures,
Yeah.
some live lectures,
Yeah.
which was like a YouTube video but live,
Live.
And the first problem is the cost. But after that, I would say the idea of studying for a master especially is that you have to connect to your friends.
Yeah.
You have to connect to people. You have to talk to them. You have to understand and to comprehend their mindset.
Absolutely.
And I would love to talk to all people, all of my friends now about their ideas and how they see the world, But with online learning, no, it's impossible.
It's been tough to get through to people and really develop that bond, because me and you were talking about this previously. We are people person.
Yeah.
We love interacting. We love engaging with people, and online, especially learning online, it's been tough to kind of really engage and get to know people. What's like one of the ways you've tried to engage with people besides just, texting on WhatsApp or Instagram?
That was the only way.
That was the only way.
That was the only way. That was the only way to send messages to people. And also, I would say it's weird and strange to send messages out of blue to someone that you found interesting, let's say in a lecture. Because, for example, you send a message to Jack, right? But the fact that Jack gonna reply you in like minutes or hours matter, because most of the time I send a message to a person and said, hi, I found your ideas very interesting, and let's talk about our ideas and our plan for future. And after 1 week, after 10 days, they replied me. They reply back to me.
10 days?
10 days sometimes, So, because the culture of online communication hasn't built for a pandemic. It built for just to follow up,
Okay.
So WhatsApp, email, video call, they are there to follow your, let's say, your meetup with your friends, with your employer, with your colleague. But it's not to shape and to build a relationship. What I mean by a relationship is not like a love relationship. You see what I'm saying?
They can't supplement a real life relationship. They're just there as tools to kind of communicate. And I agree with you, bro. So you definitely agree that this whole online or blended learning approach was sold as a lie, because me and you, we've been to campus. How many times did we attend campus?
2 times,
2 times?
I would say.
And me and you are like one of the fortunate ones. We don't live too far from campus. Let's think about international students that haven't even left the country. People that haven't even stepped foot on campus yet they're still paying the full price for their postgraduate education. And, we've tried the best we can to kind of get the government to reimburse or partially refund. But those discussions haven't gone anywhere. And I think it's extremely unfair that we're still being charged full tuition fee for basically an online degree. Don't you agree? That rhymed.
I would say it's way more expensive than what you have to pay for an online learning.
Absolutely. Do you think the quality has been the same?
So let me tell you this. I actually had a couple of short courses on Coursera and Udemy.
Love it.
The only difference between an online master and a short course on Coursera is that in online learning, you have the opportunity to talk to people, chat, or group video call. But in Coursera, you don't have the chance, and you don't have.
Facility, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only difference. And what are you gonna pay for a short course? And Coursera is like £200, but I paid because I'm an international, you know. I paid £23,000.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah.
You
And
know?
I paid around 13,000 as a home.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Still, it's a lot of money.
Even and used my savings, not just to pay for the tuition fee, but also to pay for rent, which was a big mistake. I'm not gonna lie to you, because the pandemic just kept us locked in our rooms. We really weren't able to kind of live life the way we wanted to. It's kind of crazy how they've made it, like, kind of forced us to just get on with the way things are. Don't you think that there should have been more outrage from students?
For sure. I think they have to understand the student life and the fact that we are young and we have different needs, you know, other than studying and eating and drinking and sleeping. Being in touch with people, it's important, you know, for our mental health, you know.
Absolutely.
And university could have, let's say, developed more just for fun online meeting, you know, just for fun. Like, let's say at 8 p.m. join the Zoom meeting and let's talk about your favorite movie. Or like, how can I say, like, join this link and join this Zoom meeting and let's talk about your favorite sport team. That could have been.
So you think universities kind of lacked in that department when trying to kind of really engage with students beyond the academic level?
Yes.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
You know, throwing a couple of events online and expecting students to be happy is not right in any way. And we're not just criticizing our university, which we're at right now. We might get a security card come and be like, oh no. And I was like, all universities around the UK, also in the US, in every country period. And you kind of mentioned Coursera and Udemy. My dissertation is kind of looking at how this pandemic has kind of accelerated disruption, specifically disruptive innovation in the higher education space. Do you think that course providers or online learning providers such as Coursera, Udemy, do you think these companies can potentially just take over the market?
100%.
You think so?
100%.
When do you think that will happen? And do you think the pandemic has accelerated?
Yes,
that?
I think it's happening right now.
Yeah.
But the popularity is not that high, and they have to work on the brand reputation amongst the young people especially.
Yeah.
So I would say if they try to focus on young people, that they can earn knowledge, and let's say and knowledge, and they can work on that knowledge, and they can make money out of it, that's going to be a serious option in future. What I mean is young people, they can simply, without any bureaucracy and any struggling, they can find a course, apply for it, and start to learn something serious.
Practical, yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's where universities lack when it comes to practicality. Especially when we're doing a course like business, you need as much experience as you can, especially if you want to go into a really specialized, industry. And I think course providers such as Udemy and Coursera and edX, they kind of answer that specific issue by really being as practical as possible to where employers recognize their credentials. So our university education, I don't know if it will still be relevant as much as it is right now in the next 10 or even next 5 to 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because this pandemic has kind of shifted attitudes, especially when it comes to online learning. We used to think of online learning, we're like, nah, it's not as good quality, or it's not at the same level of quality as in-person teaching. But we've done it, and it's not far off So it's going to be interesting to see how the space moves.
I would say university, they can focus on many, many more topics, like negotiation. It's very important.
Real life skills,
Of
practical
course,
skills.
of course, it's important. Even they can, I mean, they could have offered short courses in university. So
Yeah.
students, like they imagine that they can apply for these short courses, such
Yeah.
as negotiation. And since they are students, they can apply for the course for like £50. They can learn something important, especially that we are business and management students, and it's important.
Something that you'll use every single day.
Yeah.
Like negotiation, how strong of a skill and how important of a skill, not only in the business world, just in everyday life. And universities, if you have read the research, if you have read all the literature, you can see that they have been lacking behind in terms of being practical and being up to the quality that graduate employers look for. So it's going to be interesting, bro. This pandemic has completely shifted everything we once knew, in my opinion. And it's interesting to hear that you share similar opinions to mine.
I just have one last thing that I have to say, and it's about what is gone is gone, right? We have to focus on future. We shouldn't dwell on what's in the past. Even the past is like 2 days ago. Is like yesterday. It's like 1 hour ago. We shouldn't dwell on that in our mind. Like,
Absolutely.
we had the pandemic, right? We struggled a lot. Of course, we could have had a much better experience in our master, 100%. But it's gone. It's gone, and we must focus on future, and we shouldn't waste even 1 minute, 1 second, 2 minutes on thinking about the past. That yes, you could have
like
waited.
this.
You could have waited 1 more year. You could have, apply for your master in 2022 or 2021. No, that's done.
It's done.
Now we have to focus on future.
That's so powerful. That
We
is
have to
absolute.
focus on our plan and our future and the next big, era.
Absolutely.
That's it.
It's like what's it called? Tunnel vision. Don't even think about, like you said, don't even think about what's happened. Just focus on where you want to get to next. That's such important advice, especially
Yes.
for students like us that are, I think students, especially those graduating this year, we might want to overuse the victim card. Oh man, I graduated during a pandemic. Oh man, I'm not good enough. But what you said there, bro, that hit me here, man. Like, just focus on achieving your goals,
Yeah.
providing for the family, achieving what you set out to do in the first place. And that's it. Like, not just, not only that this pandemic has happened, anytime like any bad thing happens in your life, don't dwell on it too much. Focus on getting up and go for
And
it.
I have to this. I'm thinking about this myself for these days. Happiness is in now. Happiness,
is in now.
even not in future, even not in the past. Happiness is in now. So we are here in Queen Mary University in the campus. We are talking about a very important topic.
Yeah.
Happiness is in now.
Yeah.
So by understanding that happiness is in now, and the thing is that what is done, let's focus on future, enjoy our time, and thrive.
I agree totally. That's what they say now is called the present. I think I got
Presence.
I think I got that from Kung Fu Panda.
Yes.
Love that movie. I wish we could have, imagine if students were sitting here, I would have asked them to come and, interview them. But the campus is very empty because it's like, what time is it right now?
Yeah.
It's like 7:30 right now. But we'll close off this podcast with any closing remarks that you might have. Do you have anything you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
Just guys, just focus on yourself. Don't dwell on yourself even, and future is bright. What I mean by bright is not like lots of money, lots of fame, but happiness and health, you know,
Absolutely.
alongside our friends or alongside our family. And that's it. Just focus on that. Don't overthink, and try to relax, enjoy yourself, and let's say it's a ride. Enjoy the ride, you know.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's been an absolute pleasure to, talk to you just about our experience, and even you just giving such amazing advice. It's been a pleasure, honestly, to have you on. Where can the people find you? And I mean on social media, not where you live. Actually.
I have to, open a new public account.
This is gonna blow you up.
Like a bird, I have to show myself. I'm joking.
Where can the people connect with Sina Tadayon?
I have to give you my LinkedIn, maybe. Yeah.
You wanna give your LinkedIn? That's a bit too professional, though.
Too professional?
I mean, if
Instagram?
you want Instagram works.
I can give you my Instagram. Yeah.
Sure.
I can give you.
What's your Instagram? Tell the people your Instagram.
So, guys, I have one private Instagram, which is private,
Ooh.
right? But I have one public Instagram account, which is Sina Donna.
Sina Donna.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about
So
that.
Donna
one.
is an Italian because it's very new, bro. It's
Like
very
this?
new. Yeah. Donna means, I think it's sir. I don't know about Italian who are listening
Yeah,
to
I
this.
saw the Italians. I think
Mr. Sina, I think it's in
Sina
Italian.
Donna.
Yeah.
Pleasure to link up with you, bro. I hope everyone stays well. I hope everyone stays blessed. And like Sina said, don't dwell on the past. Focus on the future. It's been your host, Afaq. Follow the links in the bio. Support the channel by subscribing and liking this video. More episodes coming soon. Peace.